Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for Yoga Under the Stars. My name's Cheyenne. I'm going to be your yoga instructor today. We're going to begin by getting our station set up. So I want to make sure that you have plenty of room around you. Grab a mat or a beach towel and lay it flat on the floor. Grab a water bottle, put it next to your station, and maybe a sweatshirt because as the sun goes down, it might get a little cold. We're going to start our practice today by finding a seated position on our mat. Have those legs crisscrossed or some other way that's comfortable for you today. Want to make sure we're sitting up nice and tall, maybe rocking on those sit bones. I like to think that I have a string attached to my head and the ceiling above me, and it's pulling me up nice and tall. Want to roll those shoulders back and down and begin to focus on our breathing. Maybe those eyes close. Taking those deep breaths in through our nose and out through our nose. Continuing with this, breathing in deep through our nose and exhaling. As we continue to move through our breaths, maybe we notice that they get a little bit slower. Feeling that chest and belly rise as we inhale, and that chest and belly lower as we exhale. With each exhale, blowing out some of the worries of the day, letting our body relax and become one with the ground. Maybe you find that you prefer a more vocal exhale, and that is completely fine. Taking whatever option is comfortable for you throughout our practice today. Our next inhale, I want you to inhale, bring those shoulders towards your ears, and exhale, roll them back down behind you. Continuing to do this, inhaling those shoulders up towards our ears, and exhale, rolling them behind you. Inhaling, rolling those shoulders up, and exhale, letting them fall to the ground. Continuing to move through this, inhaling those shoulders up, nice and slowly exhaling, bringing them down. We're going to go in the other direction this time, so we're going to inhale those shoulders up. This time, exhale, rolling them forward. Inhaling those shoulders up, and exhale, going forward. Making sure we're still standing nice and tall, and moving with our breath. This time, as we inhale, we're going to bring those arms up overhead. So inhaling, those arms come up. Exhaling, those arms come down. Good. Inhale, taking your arms up towards the sky. And exhale, letting them fall towards the floor. Taking one moment here just to reconnect with our breath once again. Sitting up nice and tall, taking that big inhale. And slowly exhaling. On our next inhale, we're going to drop that right ear towards our right shoulder. Or our next exhale, I'm sorry. So inhaling deep. Exhale, dropping that right ear to our right shoulder. If we'd like to take our hand, maybe give our head a gentle pull, we can. Inhaling back up to center. Exhale, relaxing for a moment here. On that next inhale, we're going to switch sides. Go ahead and inhale deep. Exhale, dropping that left shoulder to our left ear. Taking our hand as an option if we'd like. Holding here for just a few breaths. On that next inhale, we're going to release this. Lower that hand down. Take that big inhale once again. This time as we exhale, drop that chin towards our chest. Letting it fall as it may here, relaxing deep with each exhale. On that next inhale, returning back to center. We're going to flow through that all again, just a little bit quicker. So as we inhale, sitting up nice and tall, exhale, dropping that right ear to our right shoulder. As we inhale, bringing it back to the center. And as we exhale, dropping that left ear to our left shoulder. As we inhale, returning back to center. Exhale, dropping that chin to our chest. Inhaling, returning to center. And again, exhale, dropping that right ear to the right shoulder. Inhaling that head back to center. Exhaling, other side. Inhaling. Returning back to center. Exhale, dropping that chin to our chest. Flying through that one more time. Inhaling. Exhale, dropping that right ear to our right shoulder. Inhaling, returning to center. Exhaling, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, relax, dropping that chin to our chest. Holding here for just a moment, we're going to move into some of our neck rolls. We're going to begin by taking that chin towards the right. Have some nice, big, and slow neck rolls. If you find any points of discomfort, feeling free to hold there for a second, acknowledging that, and moving on. Taking about 3 neck rolls in this direction, continuing to move through this. Breathing through the nose. When you're completed with these, meeting at that chin to chest position once again. Taking a few big inhales and exhales here. Now that next exhale, hitting those neck rolls to the other direction this time, leading with our chin to the left. Remembering to acknowledge any points of discomfort that you might find, breathing into them, and moving on. Continuing to sit up nice and tall here. Relaxing that tongue from the roof of our mouth. And maintaining that good breathing. Whenever you're ready, meeting in that chin to chest position once again. Taking 2 deep breaths here. And returning that head to neutral. We're going to go ahead and find a lying position on our mat. Making sure that you can still see me. We're going to go ahead and lie down and just extend those legs out. Taking a moment here. Finding that breath. As we inhale, we're going to bring that right knee, plugging it in towards our chest. And as we exhale, letting that leg down. Inhale, bringing that knee up to our chest. Exhale, plugging it closer to our body. This time as we inhale, we're going to switch legs. So now, once again, bringing that right knee towards our chest. As we exhale, we hug that knee closer to our body. And as we inhale, switching legs. Exhale, hugging that knee closer to our body. And exhale, switching legs. Inhale, switching legs. Continuing to flow through this with your own breath. Inhale, switching legs. Exhale, hugging that knee in towards our chest. Taking 1 to 2 more on each side. And whenever you're ready, meeting with those heels close to our bottom, those knees are going to be bent. Palms can either face up or down towards the ground. We're going to lift our hips up towards the sky and then lower back down, driving through our heels here. So as we inhale, lifting those hips high off the ground. As we exhale, lowering those hips back down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Inhale, lifting those hips high. And exhale, lowering back down to the floor. Taking 2 to 3 more of these, inhaling those hips up. And exhale, lowering them back down to the floor. Inhaling those hips. And exhale to the floor. Whenever you're finished with this one, go ahead and meet by bringing both knees in towards your chest and giving them a big hug. Maybe rocking side to side, giving yourself a gentle back massage on your mat. Taking those knees up to 90 degrees and those arms out long like a T. We're going to go into some spinal rotations. So we're going to take that big inhale here. As we exhale, dropping our knees towards the right side of the room. Knowing that it's okay if they don't touch the ground. And as we inhale, using our core to bring them back to the center. This time as we exhale, dropping them towards the left side of the room. Continuing to flow through this here, inhaling, bringing those knees up. Exhaling, lowering them down. Flowing through this with your own breath here. Inhaling, those knees come up. Exhaling, those knees fall to the side of the room. Taking 1 to 2 more on each side. Once you're finished, meeting me in that knees to chest position. Again, maybe finding that gentle back massage. Maybe giving yourself a big squeeze here. When you're ready, lowering those feet down to the floor, taking that right arm up overhead, and rolling onto our side to find our fetal position, using that left hand to press us up, coming onto a seated position on our mat as we find our tabletop here. We're actually going to be coming onto our hands and knees, making sure that our knees and hips are in a line, and our wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Those fingertips are spread wide here. Those toes can be flexed into the ground or relaxed, whatever's most comfortable. Begin by finding that breath once again, taking a big inhale here. And as we exhale, press into those hands, tucking that chin and rounding our upper back, finding our cat pose. As we inhale, directing our gaze towards the front of the room, arching that lower back, shining our heart to the front, finding our cow pose. And exhale, finding that cat, pressing through those hands, rounding that upper back, tucking the chin. Inhaling, coming into our cow. Continuing to flow through this with your own breath. Exhaling. Finding that cat. Inhaling for cow. From here, we're going to press those big toes together, send our hips back, head comes to the floor, maybe those fingertips walk forward just a little bit. We're going to find our child's pose. From that child's pose, we're going to come back, shift our weight up into that tabletop position once again. We're going to move into some spinal balances here. So the first thing we're going to do is take that right leg and extend it back and leaving it on the floor. We're then going to lift that leg up off the ground, trying to have it parallel with our back, making sure our tummy stays tucked in here. We're going to take that opposite arm and extend it towards the opposite side of the room. Holding here for just a second, finding your balance, flexing that foot, really reaching with that arm, and lowering back down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So starting by kicking that left foot back. When you're ready, raising that left foot up and extending that right arm towards the front. Holding here, finding that balance, flexing that foot, reaching with those hands, and lowering back down. We're going to flow through this with our breath this time. So as we inhale, coming up, reaching, exhale, lowering back to the floor. Inhale, reaching with those arms and those legs. Exhale, lowering to the floor. Remember, opposite hand, opposite foot. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, lowering, continuing to move through this. 2 more on each side. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, lowering back down. And whenever you're done with this, pressing those big toes together, sitting those hips back to our feet, arms come out, forehead to the floor, finding that child's pose. Taking a moment here, reconnecting with that breath, taking those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. From that child pose, we're going to come up into tabletop, but we're actually going to shift our weight forward, lowering those hips, finding a kneeling plank. From here, we're going to lower ourselves down to the floor. Then we're going to press those hands and lift our chest up off the floor, just slightly. Lowering back down, pressing up into that kneeling plank once again, and pushing those hips back. This is the sequence for our half series. We're going to flow through this a couple times. I'm going to give some names to it. So follow along. Finding that child's pose. Coming up through that tabletop, finding that kneeling plank. Lowering ourselves down to the floor. Let that chest rest for just 1 second. Then we're going to lift it up off the floor, finding our crocodile. Lowering ourselves back down, pressing up into our kneeling plank once again. This time back into our child's pose. So as we move into our sun salutations, you have the option to use any of these half series moves instead of the ones in our sun salutation. We're going to flow through one more, so finding that child's pose, coming up into our kneeling plank, lowering ourselves down to the floor, pressing through those hands, lifting our chest for crocodile, lowering ourselves back down, pressing up. This time, curling those toes underneath us and pressing our hips high towards the sky, finding our downward facing dog. Trying to drop those heels as close to the floor as we can. Maybe taking a moment to pedal those feet out, alternating, dropping one heel, bending the other knee, or coming up onto those tippy toes and lowering ourselves back down. Acknowledging the point of our downward facing dog that we're currently at and seeing if we can progress it through the rest of our practice. So from our downward facing dog, we're going to shift that weight forward into our high plank or that kneeling plank. You're going to lower yourselves down to the mat, trying to hover here, flipping those feet. This time pressing into our up dog or our crocodile. Curling those feet back underneath us and pressing back into downward facing dog. You have the option of choosing child's pose at any point in our practice today instead of downward facing dog. Holding here for just another moment, pedaling those feet out once again. We're going to move to that sun salutation again. So coming up into that plank, kneeling or full, lowering ourselves down to the mat, flipping those feet, pressing up for a crocodile or up dog. Curling those toes back underneath us, pressing those hips high towards the sky. Good, one more of these. Finding that plank, kneeling or high, lowering ourselves down to the mat, pressing up for a crocodile or up dog, lowering ourselves down to the mat, flipping those feet, maybe pressing back into a downward facing dog, or pressing back into child's pose. Taking whatever option here is most comfortable. If you're in child's pose, go ahead and meet me in downward facing dog. We're going to take that right leg and send it high towards the sky, coming into our tripod. From here, we're going to bring it, tuck it underneath our body and step it in between our hands. We're also going to step that left foot in between our hands here for a forward fold. Holding here for just a second, maybe interlocking those arms, shaking that head yes, shaking that head no, maybe rocking side to side, ragdolling. Taking whatever option's most comfortable for you here. From here, we're going to reverse swan dive up and sit back into our chair pose. So with our chair pose, we want to have those big toes pressed together, our chest up high, our hands at heart center. We can be as high or as low in this posture as we'd like. Coming back up into our mountains, taking those feet a little bit wider, fingertips spread towards the floor, standing up nice and tall, shoulders rolled back and down. From here, we're actually going to swan dive those arms up and coming back into our forward fold, relaxing down towards the ground once again. This time, placing our hands on our shins, we're going to find monkey, so lifting that back until it's flat. And lowering back down to the floor once again. We're going to frame those feet with our hands. We're going to step the left foot back, the right foot back. From this high plank, we're going to lower ourselves down to the floor, flip those feet, press up into our up dog, going to that sun salutation flow once again, curling those toes underneath us and meeting in downward facing dog. Again, pedaling those feet out here, maybe we get a little bit closer than we did before. Maybe coming up onto both toes and lowering ourselves back down. This time, we're going to take the left foot high to the sky, coming into our tripod position, and tucking that knee and bringing it in between our hands so our foot is flat on the mat. And bringing our right foot to meet the left, reverse swan diving up, and finding mountain. I let you guys get out of chair this time. Just swan dive those hands up and finding our forward fold once again. Maybe taking another opportunity to ragdoll those arms. Placing those hands on our shins, we're going to lift and find that monkey posture once again, keeping our back long and flat here. And lowering ourselves back down to the floor. And once again, reverse swan diving up. This time, we're going to sit into our chair pose. Having those big toes together, hands at heart center. If we go into an extended chair where our hands are up overhead, whatever's most comfortable for you today. And lifting, finding that mountain. If you need to grab a drink, feel free. If not, we're going to continue into our warrior sequence today. So we're going to begin by coming to the top of our mat, making sure that you can still see me. We're going to take that right foot and step it 1, 2, maybe 3 steps back, depending on your flexibility. We want to make sure that that back heel is on the ground. Our toe is at about a 45-degree angle. And we're going to press our weight into that front foot. We want our hips to be facing forward here. This is going to be our warrior 1 pose. Our hands can be at heart center, down by your sides, or up overhead. We want to make sure that front knee is in line with our front toe and our back heel is on the ground. Just taking a moment here, reconnecting with that breath that we found at the beginning of class. From this warrior 1 pose, we're going to turn all those 5 back toes towards the long edge of our mat. Maybe we have to get a little wider with our stance. Once again, we're going to push that weight into that front foot, making sure our knee and ankle are in line. That back foot's on the ground. Our arms are out wide and our hips are facing the long edge of our mat. This is warrior 2. Our hands can also be at heart center here if that's more comfortable. Want to make sure that weight is through that front leg. We're thinking about spreading the mat with our feet. From here, we're going to take that front forearm, so our left forearm, and place it on our thigh. And that arm is going to come, right arm's going to come straight up overhead. Making sure we're still pressing that weight in here and our feet are on the ground, spreading that mat. We have the option to take that left hand all the way to the floor if we'd like. We're going to come back up to our thigh if you weren't there already. And returning all the way back to center. Maybe taking a moment to stretch that front leg out if you're like me. We're going to take that back arm, so your right arm. We're going to make it a fist and place it on the lower part of your back. Turning that front palm towards the sky. We're going to come leaning backward, still pressing through that front leg, and letting that arm come over our head for a reverse warrior. Coming back to our warrior 2. This time turning all 10 toes to the long edge of our mat. We're going to come into standing straddle. So those feet can be as wide or as narrow as you'd like here. We're going to be hinging at the hips, keeping our back long and flat, and feeling that stretch through our hamstring. We maybe can come to the ground. We can place our hands on our thighs if we need to. Or if we'd like, we can walk those hands between our legs. Whatever is most comfortable for you today, making sure we maintain a long, flat back. Remember to take those deep breaths here. Just like we were at the beginning of class, in through our nose and out through our nose. Maybe taking a moment to walk those hands to the right. Or walk those hands to the left. Coming back to center, we're going to use our core to lift us up out of this posture. We're going to take all of our toes to the top of our mat, finding that mountain. We're going to go through all of that on the other side. We're going to go ahead and start with that swan dive down. Finding that forward fold for just a second here. Reverse swan diving up. All right, and get ready to do it on the other side. So if you're not at the top of your mat, let's meet there. This time we're going to step that right foot back 1, 2, maybe 3 steps, keeping that back heel on the ground. That back foot's at about a 45-degree angle. Our front knee and ankle are in line, and our hips are towards the front of the room. Our hands can be at heart center, down by our side, or up overhead. Sitting in this posture for just a moment, reconnecting with that breath. When you're ready, we're going to find our warrior 2. So taking that back foot, pointing those 5 toes to the long edge of our mat, maybe scooting it back a little bit, and sinking that weight into that front leg. Again, making sure knee and ankle are in line and that front foot is rooted into the ground. Our arms are going long, and our hips are following our arms here. From here, taking that front hand, so our right hand onto our thigh, our left hand comes up overhead, making sure that we're still pressing our weight into our front foot. If we'd like to, taking that hand all the way to the floor. Holding here for just a moment, taking those deep breaths. If you're not already there, returning that arm or that forearm to our thigh and coming back up into our warrior 2. If we need to take a second, stretch it out, that's fine. We're going to go into our reverse warrior, so taking that back hand, our left hand, and making it a fist, placing it on the lower part of our back, gently arching our back onto that hand and turning our palm towards the sky and letting it come up and over our body. Then holding here for just a few breaths. Making sure that weight's still in that front leg. And once again, coming back to our warrior 2. From here, just like we did before, we're going to turn all 10 toes to the long edge of our mat. Maybe we make those feet a little bit wider this time. Once again, we're going to find our standing straddle. So go ahead, push those hips back, keep our back long and flat, and find that standing straddle. Maybe our hands are a little closer to the floor this time, or we can get our forearms to the floor, or maybe walk our hands behind us. Maybe walking those hands to the right, or walking those hands to the left. Coming back to center, using that core to lift ourselves back up, and bringing those feet back together. Great job with that warrior sequence, everyone. We're going to move into some balancing here, so we're going to go through our tree pose. So I know my feet are a little hard to see. I probably should have not worn black socks, but that's okay. I'll talk you through it. So we're going to start by shifting all of our weight onto our right leg and kind of letting that left leg hover off the floor. We're then going to turn it into a little kickstand, so our toes are going to be on the floor and our heel is right above our ankle. If this feels, must be a breeze here today, if this feels comfortable for you, go ahead and take your second option, which is to put that foot completely on your shin. We want to make sure we have a bend in that stability leg and that we never touch the knee joint with our foot. So we have to completely avoid it by being either above or below at all times. Our hands can be at heart center, down by our sides, or up overhead. If you'd like to take another option for tree, you can bring that foot all the way up into our thigh and holding here. If you have slippery pants on like me, that might not be working out so well. So just take whatever option is working best for you today. Finding that balance here, just taking a couple moments. And whenever you're ready, placing that foot back on the ground. shaking those legs out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to start by shifting our weight onto our left foot, having a bend in that knee, letting that right foot hover and making a kickstand. If you feel comfortable in this kickstand, maybe moving it up to our shin. Or if you're up for the challenge, we can bring it all the way up into our inner thigh. Just remember, same rules apply on this side. Can't have it touching the knee joint. Hoping if I took my sock off, I could get it a little bit better. Maybe using one of those balance tricks like touching our belly button or holding our ear or staring at a point. Finding whatever works for you. You might notice that one side is better than the other. That's completely okay. And whenever you're ready, lowering that foot all the way back down to the floor. Awesome. We're going to do it one more time on each side, but we're not going to go through all the options. We're just going to do 5 breaths of tree at whatever pose position felt best last time. So go ahead and find that, whether it's your kickstand, your shin, or all the way up to the top. We're going to take 5 deep breaths in that pose. Maybe those eyes closed, you might get a little wobbly. After your 5, go ahead and switch sides. Maybe try different arm postures this time. I prefer to have my arms out by the side as roots versus up overhead as branches. And go ahead and relax out of that whenever you finish those 5 breaths. We're going to go ahead and make our way to a seated position on our mat. Maybe we hug those knees in and let ourselves rock back until we stop. And once we do, go ahead and extend those legs out long. We're going to go into some spinal twists here. So we're going to take that right knee and hug it in towards our chest. We're then going to extend our arms like a T and rotate that knee across the midline, allowing our the lower part of our back on the right side to come up off the mat. Our gaze is going to be directed over our right shoulder. If we need to use our left hand for some support, we can. Remember, it's okay if that knee isn't all the way to the ground. Taking 5 deep breaths here. And coming back to center with that knee, doing the same thing on the opposite side. So this time bringing that left knee towards our chest, taking those arms out like a T, and rotating that knee over the midline, allowing our lower back to come up off the mat, and our gaze is directed over the opposite shoulder. We can use that right hand for some help if we need it, or some support. Taking those deep breaths here. When you're ready, returning to center, lowering that leg back down. We're actually going to come up to a seated position. We're going to go through our boat series. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. Our back's going to be leaned back just slightly. Our arms are going to be out extended past our legs. We're going to begin by picking up just that right leg off the ground. making sure that back is long and flat and that belly button is pulled in towards our spine. If you're ready, we're going to try to lift that other leg up off the ground. So we're hovering here, kind of sitting like a boat. We have some options. So if this is comfortable, you can lean back and open your boat up a little bit more, or you can extend those legs up like a V. And go ahead and lower back down to the floor. We're going to do that one more time. So just like our tree pose, we're going to hold this next one for 5 breaths. You can pick whichever of those 3 postures felt most comfortable for you. All right, whenever you're ready, we're going to come back to that boat pose that we like the most and hold it for 5 breaths. So again, we have the knees bent. We have an open boat, or we can extend those legs up like a V. Taking those 5 deep breaths here. And lowering back down to the mat. We're going to go ahead and bring the soles of our feet together and pull those legs in towards our body. We're going to find our butterfly posture. So using those forearms, we're going to press those thighs towards the floor. We want to try to sit up nice and tall as we can. And again, taking those 5 deep breaths here. Good, so coming out of that, we have one more option for a pose after butterfly. So this is going to be our happy baby pose. So we're actually going to rock back onto our mat completely, letting our bodies lay flat. We're going to take our index finger and middle finger and make the number 2, but have those fingers glued together. We're going to bring those knees up towards our chest, and we're going to use those peace fingers to wrap around our big toes. And then from here, we're going to pull those knees in towards our chest and let those feet open up and fall towards the opposite side of the room. Holding this posture again for 5 breaths. And when you're ready, relaxing out of that, we're going to begin our final relaxation. So if you're outside with the stars like me, you might want to put on a sweatshirt, as we're probably just going to, you might get a little bit cold because we're just going to be laying on the ground, really resting for the next 5 to 7 minutes. So go ahead and take a moment to grab that. When you're ready, meet me in that lying position on our mat. Maybe those feet fall out towards the opposite sides of the room. Maybe those palms are up for receiving. Maybe you prefer to butterfly those feet. Picking whatever feels comfortable for you here, as this is your final relaxation. We want to take this time to really reconnect with our breath. So beginning by taking deep inhales through the nose and exhales through the nose. Continuing with this just like we did at the beginning of class. Noticing our breath getting slower with each exhale. Our body sinking deeper into the mat. And our mind becoming more and more relaxed. Maybe we place that right hand over our heart and that left hand on our belly. And we feel the breath move through our body as we inhale, our chest and our belly rises. And as we exhale, our belly and our chest lowers. letting those eyes close and relaxing that tongue from the roof of our mouth. It's natural during this time that our mind is going to want to wander. Stay present in the moment and focus on our breath. Taking these last few moments as a time to recognize and acknowledge our mind and our body for all that it does for us on a daily basis. It's really easy for us to get caught up in the day-to-day, in the hecticness and craziness of life, but it's important to be thankful and grateful for the things that happen for us on a daily basis, such as the abilities of our body and the capabilities of our mind. So acknowledge those, be grateful for those, be thankful for those. As we begin to wake up, maybe we start wiggling our fingers and wiggling our toes. In our last few moments, mindfulness and rest for the day. As you start to come awake, maybe those eyes begin to open, or maybe they stay closed. Maybe we take that right arm up overhead to make a little pillow. As we roll onto our right side into our fetal position, taking as long as you need here before we find a seated position on our mats. Even if I got closer, you still can't see me. Once we're in that seated position, go ahead and take that big, deep breath in, bringing those shoulders up to our ears, and exhale, rolling those shoulders back. This time, inhale, bringing those shoulders up towards our ears, exhale, rolling them forward. Our next one, inhale, bringing those arms up overhead. Exhale, letting those hands fall to heart center. In yoga, we like to end our practice with namaste, which means the light within me honors and acknowledges the light within each and every one of you. Namaste,